Hello guys, MikuChibi here, welcome back to Sword Art Factor and the 7th anniversary. That's gonna happen really soon, just a few days from now, and we're gonna celebrate the 7th anniversary for Sword Art in the Factor. It has been 7 years since the game have been released. Now, if you don't know, for each anniversary, they always release a new type of skill, used to bring something new content, new stuff for the game. Since it has been 7th anniversary, that means they're gonna release a 7th new mechanic, a new skill type for the game. Now, we don't know anything about it. We're still really clueless. They haven't given us any hint. They haven't shown us like a sneak peek. They have been just announcing they're gonna celebrate the 7th anniversary. That's all. But if you have been playing this game for many years now, you know that it's gonna be something special, hopefully. For each anniversary, they always release a new type of skill that can bring something really good for the game or really bad, who knows. I decided in this video I will try to predict what type of skill they're gonna be. But to be able to understand and be able to predict what skill they're gonna release for the 7th anniversary, we have to look back and see what they did on the other anniversary, and then from there try to connect them and then try to see if we can predict what skill they're gonna release during the 7th anniversary. During the first anniversary of Sword Art Factor, they released a new skill type called Burst Skill. 2018, 30th November. This was this new thing. Everyone really wanted to try to see how it is, and everyone got this free Kirito here, the Black Pioneer. It was not the best skill, of course, but getting it, just to see how the burst was, it was pretty good actually. It has some invisible stuff, so when you activate burst, you won't be able to take any damage, so it was really useful. Now, they weren't that really powerful, but back then, if you played 6 years ago, it was really strong back then. This is what they tell you what burst skill is, how to activate it and stuff. So this is like old stuff here, 6 years ago. You see the quality as well, kinda blurry, but that is how the game was before. With that, they released a new banner. The skill record with the new burst skill feature had been added. Now you can see, first time only 11 order for 1500 Arcana Gems, 1500 Arcana Gems. Just imagine. And I'm pretty sure they reset it as well, so you can do it twice. So this was the beauty here, and you can see the burst skill. This was the burst skill. 880% damage, 10 hit AoE, as in the burst when activated you will deal 1320. Now if you just look at the newest burst, they are much stronger. So these old skills, all burst skills have been outdated pretty much. The only skill that is still being used, I would say this one, Best Memory Silka. Nowadays, before, it wasn't really that used that much, but for now, when there are some tanker for Anni Labyrinth, people using this because you can heal, depends how many status elements you have on yourself, which is really good. And if you look on the burst side, we actually don't have that many because they didn't release that many burst skill back then. After 6 years, I don't think we have that many burst skills, so you can see some of them isn't really the newer. If you just compare to the newer burst now, let's see if we can find an example. Example will be Juju here. This is a burst skill, and you see the difference here. 1530% damage, 3 hit AoE, it has some buff that you can use normally, and when you activate a burst, you will deal 4200, and the bonus, you have 2 slot bonus there that increase your attack by defense, and also more water element damage, depends how many status elements you have on yourself, frostbite. If we look on for sword, we have this Yuki, which doesn't have that. He only had the crit rate, and then another crit rate, and also damage reduction. So you can see older bursts have definitely been power crept a lot, and the newer bursts, they use too strong. They're much better to being used. So that was the burst skill. It was really good on during the first anniversary till 2019. They was really good. People used burst to farm the IS, the Nox series weapon. They were so good back then. after burst skill, they released Awakening skill. Yes, this was during the second anniversary. Second anniversary, they introduced us Awakening. Skill record Awakening, dominate battle with recollection skill. So this is Awakening, yes. Awakening was really powerful back then as a support because of the rush. So basically they introduced a new mechanic where we can use a rush against the Chaos Recollection. Before they released Chaos Showdown, where the boss has Recollection, Chaos Recollection, but we didn't have Awakening back then, so it was really hard to fight. But once they released Awakening skill, it was much easier to fight the Chaos Showdown. And this was one example. I'm pretty sure I have an old video where I fought this horse here. It took a while. So with Awakening, it was probably the best thing to counter the Chaos Recollection, and Awakening was really good, especially piercing here. I'm pretty sure people still use this one. It is so good, still good to this day. It is really good. I mean, look, 20 SP to use and has switch gauge as well. You see, it's more switch gauge, and you see also bonus, more than regular increased switch gauge. Back then, this thing here was a bonus, but now they remove it just because they have to balance it with the mod skill that was gonna release next year, I believe. And with that, they also released the banner, of course. So this was the thing. Awakening Step Up Order. This was the first 7 Awakening skill, I believe, right? We had Kirito, Asuna, Elizabeth, Heartcliff, Argo, Xenon, Sachi, Lifa, and Yui. And what skill is still being used? None except for Kirito. I'm pretty sure they're now better support, but still Kirito still can be used, still really useful and helpful in your set. So if you do have this in your sword build, it's still fine, it's still good. And you can see on the banner how much it costs in total. In total, it costs what? 10,500 Arcane Gems. So this was less expensive nowadays when it compared to the newer 5-step order, right? And they also guaranteed, and you can see they also increased the rate here, 2%, 2%, 2%, and also guaranteed 1. So I would say older banner was definitely better than newer ones. And this was the thing everyone went for. You should try to see Awakening. And now, after 5 years, we have so many Awakening skill. There are so many. Like, this is not all of them, but these are a few of them. There are many more. These are just example of what type of Awakening they have released, and there are many more. Awakening, I would say, have been really helpful, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been utilizing. And during that time with Awakening, it released a new type of build, normal attack or AA, which was really good on dagger. It was really good, especially with Axe. Axe as acting as support, and your main DPS will be on dagger, and people using normal tag instead of using skill. So Awakening created a new meta, and I'm pretty sure there were some people that didn't like people using AA, but it was really powerful because you were dealing a lot of damage per second, so your DPS increased, and people was using your normal tag more than using skill. Because of the new meta, the devs had to release new type of debuff which countered the normal attack, increased boss crit resistance and stuff, so people couldn't crit on their normal attack. I mean, it was a good time, but then the meta changed, right? I'm pretty sure you can still use AA, but use that when you reach the end game nowadays. No one using AA anymore. It's so outdated, pretty much. But back then, back in 2020, it was really popular and really good. I mean, you were speedrunning, pretty much. You were speedrunning when a new boss from Chaos Channel got released, a new level. It was level 135 and 155. People use AA. Or was it 135? I'm pretty sure it was 135. People used to use AA, use to speedrun the boss. That's all. If you don't know Matt, he was one of them that really like using AA. I was showcasing all the type of stuff, showcasing all his build, how to use AA and stuff. He really liked it. He's probably the only player that grinded a lot using that meta. History was made. 3rd anniversary, they released mod skill. Yes, mod skill was the newest thing and was actually really good, to be honest. With mod skill, you were able to modify the skill. So you had a mod skill then you had the regular skill that had a really good bonus, and you combine it on your mod skill, made that mod skill even stronger. And that was where people really liked Sword, because it had the best mod fodder for mod Sword, which was the Juju and Night Revolution Allies. If you had those two, you basically could run double mod Sword and dominate. And with Awakening, that was a support, you could even deal even more damage. Mod skill was crazy good. It was really good. With that, people was pulling on the banner, trying to get a mod skill as soon as possible. You should try it out. I would say the only weapon that wasn't that really useful, probably Spear. Not the best, but Bow was becoming really good, really popular. Mace wasn't the best either. But nowadays, I would say Mace have been rising up as well, same with Axe. The only weapon that haven't got the same treatment was Spear. Who uses Spear nowadays, right? So mod skill was the thing, was the newest meta, was the new trend, and everyone's following it. And you can see this one also had 5-step, and now this time it costed 11,250 Arcana gems. So 750 more Arcana. They have released so many mod skill. I believe mod skill, there are more mod skill than burst skill. So they released more mods than burst. That was the funny part. Some of them, of course, are outdated, not that really used that anymore, but still, you can still use mod skill unless you have full burst, right? So these are some example of what mod skill they were. 4th anniversary, they released the Connect skill. Connect skill wasn't that really popular in my opinion. When people read it, it was like, okay, it was nothing like interesting or stuff. Everyone treated Connect skill as a support, not like damage dealer, because everyone thought that it will do something good. Because if you look at burst skill, it was damage. If you look at Awakening, it was damage as well, and Rush increased the damage. And then mod skill, damage. But with Connect skill, it was not damage, it was just support. Like if you see here, this rapier, it reduced the cooldown reduction, meaning support Connect skill. Only skill that was really good in this banner was rapier, that's all. Rapier pretty much had the best support skill because they reduced the cooldown reduction, meaning you could spam your mod skill or a really strong skill to spam it, so it was really good. And if you look at Sword, it didn't have the best connect chain. Dagger did not have that either. Mace, kind of conditional where you had to crit, but back then I would say boss had high crit resistance, so it was pretty hard to crit. Spear, they got healing. They got healing. Back then, healing recovery wasn't a thing, but I would say nowadays it can be a thing, like squad jumble or a ring. The buff from the skill itself, the skill effect wasn't the best. And Axe, it wasn't the best. This one was a type of offensive connect skill, but you had to break the enemy to be able to receive the attack, so it wasn't the best. Bow, stacks back then wasn't that really trendy, so no one really cared about stacks, and pretty much bow was pretty much useless. So the only skill or the only weapon that was really useful was rapier. Rapier was probably had the best, and those that were rapier main, this was definitely a must skill to get. And till this day, Connect rapier is still a must to get, used for the cooldown reduction. That's all, is really good. And looking at Connect skill, they did release, I believe they are somewhat the same amount Connect skill as burst skill, regular burst skill, and some of them is really good. I think nowadays is really good. Let's see, find a new skill like Len. If you have seen my video about this one, this is a really good offensive dagger skill, so really good. Silka is also good, is a new. I would say nowadays, when it comes to all newer Connect skill, I would say every single new Connect skill have been becoming really good. So definitely an improvement. If we just compare to all the Connect skill, they are pretty much useless. But newer skill, modern skills, they are really good now. 5th anniversary, they released Accele skill. Yes, another support skill. I think this one during the 5th anniversary, everyone got outburn and wasn't that high when it comes to axe skill. Axe skill was like, okay, what can do? It's another type of mechanic where they replaced the rush. So you couldn't use rush or axe skill at the same time. So it was like kind of weird. So everyone's like, maybe you have to use it on second set or something like that. But just looking at axe skill nowadays, axe skill have been really useful. But back then, during 2022, axe skill wasn't the best. I mean, if you look at buff, they were decent, right? Back then, stacking wasn't a thing. No one know how to use the stack, of course. Ultimate Light 4 on Rapier, it's meh. On Dagger, Muscle Trophy 4 debuff, it is still good. Not that used that much. Xenon, what do you have? Risk Taker 4, that is amazing buff. If you know how to use this one stack, is a really good. Spear, Armor Decay, really good debuff on the enemy, is really useful, especially on Spear. And Axe, we have Muscle Build, really good. Mace, we also have Muscle Build but for party, so really good. But back then, stack wasn't a thing, so it was really hard to use, I believe, or wasn't a thing that people want to use. So people still use Awakening and Mod skill, that's all, and some of Connect skill. Most of the player, they just use the Access skill as a support, so they linked it into the Connect skill and used the Switch Gauge, because Switch Gauge, they increased the Switch Gauge, 96, I'm good, 105, that is good, 60, decent, 108 on Bow, that is good, and 92 on Spear, good, 95 on Axe, good, and 95 on Mace, good. So basically people used to use the Switch Gauge mostly for the Access skill. But nowadays, I would say people know how to use Axe skill, and Axe skill, I would say, have been rising up in the meta as well. But back then, 2022, not that many knew how to use it, but those who knew how to use Axe skill, they knew how to use the Axe skill, their full potential, and also had the mechanic, I would say. Not that many. I'm pretty sure stacks was really popular during GOG. I'm not sure when, but when you could use stacks and keep the stack outside the GOG. And nowadays, I'm not sure if you can still keep the buff. Maybe hard, but still, if you can accomplish that, that's pretty good. New Axe skill, they are much better compared to older ones. I mean, for example, this unit here, let's have a look at it. Like, just look at it. When you activate Axe skill, you'll be able to spam 2.5 damage, right? You're also buffing War Element damage, really good. You're spamming it, and you have a lot of War Element damage because you're getting 3 stack. Let's say you spam it 10 times, 30 stack, 30% War Element damage for yourself and party. Amazing, in few seconds, really good, right? So that was Axe skill. It wasn't that really hyped during release, but nowadays I would say they're being really useful, so really good. And for the final, they released Full Burst. During this update, I wasn't there. I quit Swordline in the Factor, of course, because I got bored of the game and stuff. After coming back to the game and learning what Full Burst skill is, I wasn't that really happy with Full Burst because I think they ran out of ideas, I would say. Basically, it used a revamp of Burst skill, but now they just release Full Burst, where they're much stronger. You can use it twice. Regular burst you can only use it once, and full burst you can use it twice or more if you have a full burst passive skill. So I wasn't really happy with this, but still I won't deny that full burst is the meta and really strong and had probably helped a lot of players to clear faster run on Kill Showdown or Labyrinth. And also it is really useful for any early players if you reroll for full burst, especially for sword. Full burst sword, they are really good and pretty much can clear all the content, really useful. Because you can use full burst twice, unless you have a full burst pass skill, you basically take no damage on the boss. Meanwhile, you're doing a lot of damage on the boss. So that was the best thing. But still, I wasn't happy because I thought the devs was pretty much lazy, didn't have anything, so they used power creep the burst. Nowadays, I would say it's fine because they are combining full burst and regular burst. Newer burst is definitely strong, and you combine it with full burst, you have 2 really good combination in the set. and definitely better than mod skill nowadays. I have not seen that many using mod skill in the set, but still you can still use mod skill, burst and full burst if you want to. Pretty hard to execute since they are really hard and they cost a lot of SP. But with full burst, they have opened a new path, a new meta, and a new perspective how to build your set, right? A lot of people have different sets, even though they're using the same full burst. Everyone has like different set and deal the same amount of damage, right? So I would say full burst have definitely made a change, really impactful in the game and really trendy and really good for any players, new players, early game players, mid players, and even end game players. Clear the labyrinth or kill Shonen really faster. So they've been dominating, and that's good. And with that, they also released the ban, of course. Still the same price, 11,250 account gen, but no increased rate, right? You have 3% off on step 1, who cares? Use a bait. Step 5, you're guaranteed a full burst, and if you look at full burst, Kirito still really useful, really strong. Asuna, I would say it had fallen off the better full burst for water element. This one isn't used that a lot, but still a really good thing. Dagger, I would say, isn't that really useful. Still really good bonus, but a better alternative. So Dagger having fall off, or the Water Dagger having fall off, the better full burst dagger now. Bow full burst, still really good, so still really useful. For example, floor 17, people still use it. If you get this one from your free pulls, it's still really good. Spear, let's not talk about spear. Axe, is Blunt Earth is alright, the better full burst for Axe. Mace, I would say Mace have been rising up as a main DPS, so Mace is really good. And this one I would say good, but since they're Blunt and Earth, there aren't that many content for Blunt and Earth, unless you're farming floor 51. And then they also release passive. This one is alright, the better now, but once they release even more passive skill, full burst passive, I'm pretty sure this one, no one gonna use this one. Full burst was the thing, and if you look nowadays, how many full bursts have released? Not that many. I would say they have somewhat similar as burst. Yeah, Sword has a lot. I mean, I know passive have a lot, but if you look at weapons, Sword has more skills, more full burst than the other weapons. So yeah, I mean, they're just 1 year old, right? But once they're gonna release more, they're gonna be really popular. So that was full burst. With that, we are now on the 7th anniversary, where we're gonna predict what skill they're gonna release. We know the first anniversary, it was burst. After that, it came Awakening, Mold, Connect, Accele, and Third Burst. So now it's time to predict what skill they're gonna release on the 7th anniversary. If we want to look back on other stuff like previous banners, they have released pretty much unique skills. By that I mean path skills. A lot of skills, or when we look at full burst, involved with having elements, and then they also released some path skill, Awakening path skill, that also involved with element, and axe skill where you have to equip like 4 Koharus, 4 Kirito to apply element. It probably has something to do with that, like maybe a new skill type that support the element, like supporting burn, supporting poisons. It might be something like that, because they have released a lot of unique skill that involve with element, and not that many knows how to play around that. Only a few selected players knows how to play around the element, especially frostbite or poison. Burn might be really hard. We'll see, but they have released a lot of stuff related to that. So maybe be something like a support skill, maybe a new support skill to support the element, which can be really helpful for full burst and some path skill, maybe something like that. Or maybe they're gonna do the same route as full burst. You know, we had burst, right? And then they release something better, which is the full burst that you can use twice. If they follow that pattern, we might get another awakening, don't you think? Maybe like full awakening. Nah, we can't use the same. Maybe like full mega like Mega Awakening. Maybe that is something they're gonna release. Mega Awakening, that sounds better, right? Mega Awakening, Mega Support Awakening, or Mega Recollection Awakening, Mega Rush. I don't know, but something like that. Or maybe like Awakening skill, but you can modify it. So like mod skill, you can modify mod skill with other bonus from the other skills, right? What if they release a new skill type that has the same function as mod skill but for awakening, meaning that you can use different awakening and combine it into one? What if that is the thing? That means you can add more awakening skill in your set. Maybe. So that is two skill types they can release. So something supporting all set that have related to element, and then maybe modifying awakening skill. That can be something interesting. Third one I had in mind, it can be a new mechanic, like, you know, rush to get the rush effect, right? Or Accele skill where you activate the Accele to activate the Accele mode, right? So maybe they're gonna release a new type of mechanic, which can be really hard, but can be also really useful. Which can be really hard to predict. What can be better than rush and Accele skill? What can actually be better than that? To be honest, I don't know, to be honest. It is really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to predict, yeah. That is those things I had in mind. We can actually talk more about it, like you can have a really good discussion about it. But we'll see in a few days, because they're gonna have live stream on the 28th November. During that live stream, I'm pretty sure they're gonna reveal some stuff about the new mechanic and new skill type. So stay tuned for that. I will try to recap that as well when I'm free. Hopefully it is something really good. But that is for me. I have been recording for long and I don't want to stall too much, but let me know in the comment your prediction. What skill gonna be? Is something special? Or if you have any ideas what they can add into the game or something like that. A new skill type that can be a game changing or more stack. Maybe a skill that can add more stacks, something like that. Or maybe a new mechanic where you can use Accele and Rush together. I don't know. Let me know your prediction in the comments, and yeah, maybe some have some same idea as you. Who knows? Let me know, share your thoughts, and that's for me. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Take care now, and bye bye.